50 years ago, Dondae was ringed by quite a number of forts. You can still see them today. Many of them have been reconstructed, and you'll find them on the tourist map. And I have come across a Japanese 1936 survey map which shows a lot more of these forts. And in those days, behind me, what you can see of rice paddies was actually an inlet to the sea. And on this inlet there were two forts. They're not on the tourist map today, and it's my mission to find these forts, to find what's left of them if anything, and we'll see what we can see. Well, this first one, this is the remains of the East Dondae, as they call it, East Fort, and it wasn't too difficult to find. It's right here on the edge of the road. I'm just going to get down to that and have a closer look, and then journey over to see if I can find the west one, which is directly opposite, overlooking what was once a great large inlet of sea, which has since been reclaimed probably during the 60s. So the official name is the Yangam Dondae Fort, and this is a recently erected plaque, and I guess maybe they're just going to leave it like this. Here's the entrance, and now blocked up, and you can see that the whole of the inside is now taken over by the local farmer. But also the view across the inlet was quite commanding, and nothing could get in and out here without coming through between these two forts, and we'll see where the other one is very shortly, I hope. Directly opposite this fort you can probably see like a small mountain. On the top of that will be the next fort, I hope. Probably in a better preservation state than this one, which has been taken over by the farmers and pretty much robbed out of stone. When in its day it's probably had a battery of about 6 Chinese-made guns, possibly Korean-made guns, and they would have commanded this inlet. There would have been a narrow channel which could have taken ships further up into the island, and hence its importance here. There were also, at the mouth of the inlet down by the sea, other forts which still exist today. They have been reconstructed or restored. Oh, now walking where once, maybe 50 or 60 years ago, there were tidal mud flats, and it's a very shallow area here, hence they reclaimed it, and when the tide went out it exposed these mud flats right through until I think there's a central channel. When the tide was in, it covered quite an extensive area. Anyway, it's boring. I finally made my way around to the other side, and I'm approaching the second site of the West Dondae, and you can see I'm right in the middle of the paddy fields here on this reclaimed land. You've heard that before, fuck me. Right, well, I've reached this area, and it's pretty overgrown and very steep in there. In fact, if you can see that, it puts the F into steep. So I'm going to go straight up because I can't find a way in. I've tried the other side, and this one looks like the best choice. See how we go. Yeah. Well, at first I didn't think there was anything here, but there is a mound in the ground here, and there seem to be some in situ stones, probably off the wall. I'll have a bit further look, but yeah, there's quite obviously something was here, but there's very, very little left of it. Well, what we have is the remains of a fort. It may or may not have been built in the same solid stone construction as a lot of the other Dondaes. It's in a very commanding position. We're looking at the entrance here, and you can see that's the south wall, a bit of a mound, and it goes all the way over into there, and then we've got the north wall comes down here. There's really not much left of it. If there was any grand stonework, then it's probably been robbed out by the locals a long time ago. Well, just after I finished saying that the locals robbed everything out, I found this piece of granite, which is not part of the local rock, and it's obviously been shaped. It's the only example of this that I can find, but it does indicate that this fort was of a much more substantial structure, I would say. Well, that's it. I'm calling it quits. Mission accomplished. It's hot, I'm tired. I'm heading for the nearest cold beer. "150 years ago, this island of Gangwado was... oh, fuck me. 150 years ago, Gangwa was ringed by a number of forts, and you can still see them today on tourist maps. A lot of them have been restored and reconstructed. But I've checked a 1936 Japanese survey map, and there are a couple of forts that are not on that map of the tourist map, and I'm here today to find them. Behind me you'll see it's a lot of rice paddies. 150 years ago, or even when the Japanese did their survey map, take two, fuck me. Okay, directly behind me, directly opposite this fort was the other fort, and I'm not sure what its name is. These were usually manned by the fuck me. Oh, Jesus. In the days that these forts were operational, they were armed with about, well, say oh, fuck me. Oh, now walking across the rice paddies now, the roads between the rice paddies, and oh, Jesus Christ, I can get it right.